21 federal employees just resigned in protest of the Elon Musk-led DOGE efforts. CNN's Sunlen Sirfati is breaking the story now for us. Sunlen, who are these individuals? Where do they work? And what did they say about their decision to resign?
Dana, this is certainly significant because it is point blank being called a protest resignation by these 21 federal employees. These are employees that had been in the federal government for years under the United States Digital Service, USDS. Now, these are people who work in technology. A source describing to me these are engineers, designers, data scientists, project managers. In the words of one source within that agencies, these are people leading critical work and critical projects across the government. And they resigned, according to a source, en masse today. 21 employees total, making it known that they are not comfortable with what DOGE is doing and what they are being instructed, importantly, to do. Now, according to this source who told me this information, they said it's people who don't want to be a part of this. For this group, it is a protest. They don't want to be a part of it. And according to a letter obtained from the Associated Press, their resignation letter spells that out more clearly, saying we will not use our skills as technologists to compromise core government systems, jeopardize American sensitive data, or dismantle critical public services, adding we will not lend our expertise to carry out or legitimize DOGE's actions. And the source tells me, Dana, that after the Valentine's Day federal firing, those mass firings that happened, of which they lost 43 people within their office, it was the Tuesday after that happened that was the first time that DOGE employees led their staff meeting. And the message there was clearly to try to turn the page, to acknowledge that this has been a hard few weeks and kind of rally the troops. But that message, according to the source, did not go over well. And it was then that this small group of people started to discuss ways that they could really, in essence, make their voices be heard, and saying, what should we do together? What can we do? And the message clearly pointed to today's resignations. They all decided to make a point of resigning en masse today. And the source, Dana, tells me that they potentially anticipate more people to do the same in the coming days. Dana.
Wow, it really is a very important development. Thank you so much for that, Sunlen. I'm joined here by a talented group of journalists. CNN's S.E. Cupp, David Gura of Bloomberg News, Harry Enton, who was just promoted to CNN's chief data analyst. Congratulations. And Abby Livingston of Puck, and I'm proud to say a former producer here. We'll talk about that later. I just want to underscore, because there's so much coming at all of us, and this is one of those moments where we need to stop, take a breath, take a beat, and just underline. Are you good?
I'm good.
You're doing
Thank
your
you.
breathing exercises? Okay. Underline and highlight what Sunlen just brought us, which is, SE, 21 people intentionally, en masse, as a group, wanted to make a point. Yeah. And these are people who work in what was formerly just the digital service, and now it has been taken over by DOGE, saying that they don't want to use their own talents, their tech talents, their engineering talents, to do whatever it is that the DOGE representatives, Elon Musk, want them to do.
And I think you just made the most important point, the whatever it is. There's such a lack of understanding of what is happening and what is coming. The incompetence and the chaos is, I think, at least what I'm hearing, is getting to these people the most. It's not that they feel as if Trump's politics is steering them to do something they don't want to do. It's that they don't know who's in charge and what is coming. That kind of incompetence, whether you don't know if you're going to be fired, semi-fired, resigned, not resigned, it's no way to work. It's an embarrassing look for our government.
Well, and just to put a finer point on it, we don't know, but there is a bit of a clue in the following sentence, and that is that as technologists, they don't want to use their skills to compromise core government systems, jeopardize Americans' sensitive data, or dismantle critical public services. I mean, let's just zero in on one of these things. Jeopardize Americans' sensitive data. If I'm just an average voter out there, whether it's somebody who voted for Donald Trump or somebody who didn't, I'm not so sure I want my sensitive data to be in the hands of these people who the technologists are saying could be used. They don't know how it's going to be used. It could be used for things that are dangerous.
And this has been an issue from the very beginning. So I think back on what happened with the Treasury Department in the earliest days of this administration, when the DOGE team deployed a couple of workers there to look at sensitive payments information. And on Bloomberg, in an interview with the Treasury Secretary, we got an assurance that no personal data was being reviewed or taken. Since then, we've seen members of Congress push back on that, skeptical of what Scott Bessent said in that interview, Elizabeth Warren chief among them. So there's a very real sense, yes, it's chaos, could be incompetence. It's also just ambiguity about what's happening here. And I think that that's the thing that's most likely to be salient with Americans, this fear that they don't know what's going on, the people doing this work don't know what's going on, and could have very real effects. And so it's happening in Treasury, it's happening across the agencies. And I think back just on the latest news about that first Elon Musk email, give your 5 bullet points, and the response from one of the agencies, which was, don't say anything here that could be viewed by a foreign adversary. Also incredibly alarming, also having to do with sensitive data.
Yeah. And Abby, I do want to kind of give the other perspective, and I'm guessing it's like a countdown clock, which Elon Musk likes, from 10 to 1, about how long it's going to take for them to say, well, these are employees who are part of the deep state, who are people who don't like the idea of what we want to do politically. Who knows? And we don't know who these people are, and we don't know what their political point of view is, and it shouldn't matter. What matters is that they are people who are data specialists who are very upset about the way they're seeing the data being used.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that one of the key things is these are very specialized people. And when you remove, whether it's by their resignation, and it's up to the individual, do you stay on as long as you can to hold things together, or do you resign publicly in protest? But I've been a part of organizations where they clean out the institutional memory, and things are never the same, and it can take years, if not decades, to rebuild that. And I think the American public, right now this feels like a food fight. It's playing over social media. But in the coming weeks and months, at best, you may be inconvenienced. You may need to go freeze your credit and take time out of your day to do that because your social security number might be on the internet. But people are beginning to be afraid to fly. These are having major societal consequences.
I was just going to say one word or one phrase I might just use to describe this is, what a mess. I mean, that is what is coming across to the American people. It's no big surprise that among the opponents of Donald Trump, the number one thing they're opposed to is DOGE, Musk, these federal freezes and these federal cuts. And even amongst voters overall, what are we seeing? We're seeing that Elon Musk is becoming a detestable figure amongst them, right? His net favorable rating is way down. I think it's like minus 12 points, according to latest Quinnipiac University poll, down from minus 5. Back.
We have that.
Yeah, I think you have it.
There you
go. You could see it. You could see it right there. Look, that favorable rating is down to 38%. The unfavorable is up to 50%. So the American folks know that something is up, and I think it's only going to get worse from here, given that the American people so far have been saying, wait a minute, what's cooking? You get resignations like this, and you go, this is just a giant mess.
Well, let me just a bit of a devil's advocate here.
Please.
Because I think
it's important.
And I've heard from a House Democrat who is worried about how Democrats will message this, because I think what Trump and Musk are betting on is there is a sentiment, and it's long, goes back in conservative canon for decades, of sort of resentment toward federal workers and animus toward federal workers. The sense of entitlement among federal workers, that they can't be fired for cause, they get taxpayer pension, funded pensions, they have a job for life. That exists. And if you don't parse out who these people are, right? If you don't parse out, these are very highly skilled workers that we're talking about in this instance. If you don't do any of that, it's really easy to sort of lump all these people together. And this House Democrat that I was talking to is worried about how they're going to message against a group of people that might not have as much sympathy.